Voice audible, guys? Last class we have created this UI. So we were working on this part. So we have seen how we can use components concept and we can create the UI for our home page. If you remember, we have created this nav bar, we have created this main section and this side section, and we have created this layout. So what we wanted to do now, right now, so what we wanted to do now means this background color we want to replace with the background images. So for this, we will go to our CSS. Now here, wherever we have added that background color, so here we have added background color pink, background color blue, and here we have added background color red. So in all these places, we have to remove background color and we have to add background image. So to add one background image in your CSS, there is one property called background image property, whose value should be one URL function. And here we have to provide the link of the image which we want to show as a background. So right photo, I will just go to the browser and here I will search for kids background image. Or here I will simply say kids shopping background images. So I will get some images here. So I will just get some images. I will get this image. I will copy this link, go back here. I will add that background image. To this background image, I will assign size. So for that, we have a property called background size. So I'm saying that width should be 100%, height also should be 100%. So if I just save and if I go to my browser and if I just refresh my page, now here we should be able to see one background image. Now in the same way, same background image size property I will use for this element also and for this element also. I just need to change the URL. So I will just get some other URL now. I will copy this and I will replace with this part. If you see here, all the styling part we are doing with the CSS. Like if you know CSS, it will be easy for you to design or add the styles. And here also we want one more image. So let's get some one more image. So I will take this or maybe some other image we will take. Yeah, we will get this image, copy this image link, and let's replace with the third image. That's it. Now if I go back here and if I just refresh, we will get like this. Now let me just try to generate some space. Let me just check if it works well or not. So here I will just say gap 5 pixel if I say. Let me just check. So here some gap is generated. In the same way here also if I say gap some 5 pixel and if I refresh, so here also some gap is generated. Okay. So now what I want on the top of this background image, I want to add one black color. So right now, if you see what I am doing, I have like this one div element. Now to this div, I am assigning one background image. Let's assume that I am assigning like this one background image. Now what I want to do on the top of this background image, I want to add one color. On the top of this background image, I want to add one color. So how to do that? For that, here only on this background image property only, here we have to add one more function called linear gradient. So before this URL, we have to add one more function called linear gradient. Linear gradient, comma URL function. And here we have to mention our color name. So first we have to mention the degree, in which degree you want to apply the color and which color you want to apply. Suppose if I say red and if I save, now let me remove this background color. And if I go back here and if I refresh, on the top of the image, I got that red background color. But if you add this background color on the top of the image, then that image is not visible. So what we can do, this color we can make as a transparent color. This color we can convert into transparent. So if you convert this color into transparent, then the background image will be visible. So how to convert this color into transparent? For that, instead of giving color name, here we can use color code, that is RGBA. Now all these are CSS concepts. 0, 0, 0, 0.7. So now I am making this color transparent in a black. So if I refresh, now see I got one black color shadow on the top of the image. Suppose if I increase this value, if I make it this value 1, then your color will be completely black. So background image is not visible. This, I don't want this much dark color. I want to make this color transparent. So you can give the value 0.7. Now same thing what I want to do, I want to add here. Same thing I want to add here also. So you will see that you will get here transparent color. That's it. In the simple way we are able to do. Now what I want to do here on the top of this div, inside this div, I want to display some content. So I will go to my HTML. Now this is not our nav, so we can minimize. Now this is our main. So here in this div where we have one, here I want to add one content. I want to add here one content called H1. I will say trending dresses. And here I will just generate some content. So what I will do, I will just take the help of ChatGPT. I will ask ChatGPT to generate some titles and description. So generate title for kids clothing with some 11 words description. So generate three titles for kids clothing with 11 words description, I am saying. So it will give us some title. So it is giving us something like light sunshine cotton kids t-shirt. So I will copy this and I will add here. And in the same way, I will add here one paragraph. And in that paragraph, I will add this description. I will copy this and I will add here. Now, if I go back here and if I just check how it looks, so it looks something like this. So now this content I want here exactly in the center. So for that, what we will do, we will go to our CSS. Now here we will make it as a display flex. And flex the direction, we will keep it as a column and justify content center, align items center, we will say. And here we will say in my column 1, whatever H1 is there, that H1 color should be tomato. And paragraph color, we want to keep it as a white only. So here we will add color white. So what I'm doing, I'm making that div as a display flex and I am saying content should display in the column direction, justify content should be center, align item should be center. So if I do like this, you will see that that content will display exactly in the center here. Now, if I want, I can add more paragraph. So I will just say generate description with 30 words. Now it will generate some description with 30 words. So I will copy this description and I will add here. If I go and refresh my document, it looks something like this. Now simply I will add here text align center. Text align center. So if I say, I will get something like this. And this H1 font size I will increase. Font size I will make 42 pixel. So I got like this. So we can decrease the title here little bit. Little Sunshine Cotton Kids t-shirt. I will say something like Little Kids t-shirt, I will say. I got like this. Same thing I want here and here. So what I want to do, so I will go back here. Here also I will add H1. In this div I will add H1. I will add paragraph. Here also I will add H1. I will add paragraph. We can copy those titles. We can go back here. I can copy Rainbow Fun Kids. Here I will simply add the title, and here I can copy that description. This, because the div is small, so I think this will be enough. I will add here. And now if I go back here and if I refresh, I got here. Now this also I want exactly here in the center. So for that, again, we have to write CSS. So this properties, I will copy all this and I will add here also. Same properties, I will add here also. So if I go and if I refresh, I got like this. Now this part we want in the coral color. So I will copy this entire CSS selector and I will add here and I will say in that whatever H1 is there, comma, I will copy this also. Inside this also whatever H1 is there. Now to both the H1, make color as coral. So if I go back here and if I refresh, I got here coral color. Now same thing I want here. So just copy the title and add here and copy the description and add here. Now see how important CSS is. If you remember, when I started React, I told prerequisite is CSS. You should know CSS very well. Because if you don't know CSS, then you cannot design your UI. You cannot design UI. So if you want to design the UI, then you should be very good with the CSS. But right now, let's assume that you don't know much about CSS. So what you have to do while learning React, you have to focus on CSS also. So every day you have to learn at least one or two topics in CSS. So daily, if you learn two topics in CSS, now in next 1 month, you will learn 60 topics. Now, if you know 60 topics in CSS means you will be called as a master of CSS. If you know 60 topics in CSS, it means almost people will start calling you the master of CSS. So just a small step, not to worry much, just learn two concepts. To learn two concepts, maximum you will spend 15 to 20 minutes, not more than that. In CSS, if you want to learn two concepts, maximum you have to spend 15 to 20 minutes. So don't think that within 1 week I will complete CSS. If you do like this, things will become very burden for you. Just do small things, but do consistently for long time. Then you will get unimaginable results, which you never imagined. That level you will reach. Daily, if you learn concepts, just two concepts, which will take 15 to 20 minutes. If you can spend within next 1 month, you will be very good with this CSS part. Slowly, you have to learn. Okay. So now see here, if I just refresh, I got this. Now let me just reduce this part, heading part little bit. So cozy kids hoodies, I will say. So if I go and refresh, I got like this. Now see here, we are able to show some UI. So this is our header section. This is our main section. So to design header section, we created header component. Nothing but navbar component. To create main section, we created main component. Now to create footer section, we will create footer component. Now in footer, I want to keep very simple. I just want to add here one h1 and I will say here something like developed using React with CSS. And here I'm just adding one paragraph, lorem, something like 130 words. So just I created one heading element, one paragraph element. And here I will add one class name called footer. Now I want to go to my home.css. Here I will select my footer class. And to this footer class, I will add padding, something like 30 pixel. I will add margin, top 30 pixel. Let me assign some height. Height is not required. We can add here color, white, background color. I will make it black. And inside this footer, whatever h1 is there, that h1 color, I will make it as a coral. And I will just increase the font size to 37 pixel. And here, let me add text align center. Okay, I'm just adding very simple footer UI. So I got like this. Now let me add little bit more padding. I will make it 50 pixel padding. So I got like this. So here you can add some icons. 3 icons you can add here if you want. If you want, you can add here some 3 icons. So what we can do inside this footer, after this paragraph, we can take one more div here. And inside that div, we can add 3 icons here. How to add icons? For that, let's go to the Bootstrap. Bootstrap.com. Visit this website. Click on icons. Scroll down. Here you search icons. So I will search here icon for Instagram. I got here one Instagram icon. I will copy this and I will add that here. In the same way, we can copy one more, like let's add WhatsApp. We got WhatsApp. Copy this. Let's add here. Let's add two more. Just it looks better. We can search for Twitter. We can get this Twitter. Copy this. You can add here. You can search for LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, we got here LinkedIn. You can copy this. You can add here. Maybe I can search one more. I will add here GitHub. So we can just copy this GitHub. We can copy and we can paste here. So right now, if I just check how it looks, So it looks like this. Now we can increase the font size. So here I can give a class called class name like footer icons, and I can select that footer icons dot footer icons. In that whatever I is there, its font size you increase to 24 pixel. So if I refresh, I got like this. Maybe 27, add margin right 20 pixel. I got like this. Little bit margin top we will add 20 pixel. I got like this. So little bit more margin top we will add 50 pixel if I add. So margin top is not working. Maybe for footer icon we can add. For dot footer icon, we can add margin top. Now here we got. So here we got, and here I can add margin bottom 20 pixel. I'm just adding some CSS. You don't worry about much CSS, guys. Now here maybe I can decrease little bit, 30 I can add. Okay, fine. Now here I can make 37 pixel and color. I will add tomato. If I refresh, I got like this. Or we can add some other color also. Tomato is not looking good. Maybe I can try here yellow. I got like this. Size is looking very big. We can reduce to 32 pixel. We got like this. And here little bit margin right we will increase to 50 pixel. 50 is looking more. 30. 30 is also more. 25. We got here. Or here I can add 30. Like this. Okay, something I have created. So now if you see a proper UI we are able to create with React. And to create this proper UI, what we have done for styling, we are using CSS. For styling, we are using CSS. And for creating UI components, we are using JSX. This is called JSX code. And we are using inside the function. What we are doing for navbar, we are creating one separate function. For main, we are creating separate function. And for footer, we are creating separate function. So we are dividing our UI into small components. Why we are doing like that? Because it will be easy for us to maintain. Suppose tomorrow, if you want to do any changes in navbar, directly you can go to the navbar component and you can do the changes. Suppose if I am not dividing my UI like this into multiple components, if I am not dividing my UI into multiple components, then how much problems I will face, you see here. I am creating one file called not recommended.html. Here I will start with doc type, HTML tag, head section. I will add here body section. I will take one div, and here let me add script tag with type equals to text slash babel. And inside this, let me create one simple component called home. Let's assume that I'm just creating one component like this. Return one div element. And now this home component I have to show on my browser. So for that, I am using React DOM. So here I am rendering my home component and adding document dot get element by ID of row. Now let's assume that everything we are going to write in one function. So for this, first let me copy this, all these links. I will copy and I will add here. Now let's assume that in my in my single component, first I will copy the code of my nav bar. So in my nav bar, whatever code I have, I will copy it. So from this div, I will copy till this div. And I am adding here. Then let's assume that this main section code also, I will copy this. I will copy and I will add here. In the same way, I will copy footer section also. All this code I will copy and I am adding here. Now see, your home component looks how much complex, how much big. Everything you're writing in one component. Suddenly, if you have some error in your main section, then what you have to do, you have to search where is your main section code. So you have to search where is your main section code. So in this, you will take some time. Sometimes you will be able to identify early, sometimes you might take little bit time. So this is called maintenance problem. Suddenly, if there is any issue with one part, then your entire UI will get disturbed. If there is a issue in footer part, your nav bar will get issue. I mean, your nav bar will get disturbed, and even your main component will get disturbed. And tomorrow, if someone asks you to add some more sections, then adding some more code in existing component becomes very, very complex because already this component is containing so much code. Again, if I add more code, again, it will be very burden for a developer. Same UI you got. Here also same UI, here also same UI. Same UI you got. But not recommended approach. Which is not recommended approach? Writing everything in one component. That is not recommended approach. So writing everything in one component is not recommended approach. But then what is recommended approach? Your entire UI you divide into small, small components as much as possible. You don't have any restrictions like you have to create only 3 components or 10 components. You can divide your entire UI in any number of components. So right now, if you see my main component contains lot of code. If I want, I can divide my main component again into small, small components. So as much as possible, you divide your UI into small, small components so that it becomes easy for us to maintain, easy for us to scale, easy for us to debug. And even if you want to manage the things easily, you will be able to manage all those things. And we can reuse also. Suppose in some other part, you required nav bar. Now you can use this function in another part also. In some other part you required footer, you can reuse it. So easily you will be able to reuse also. Okay, but there is one problem with this approach. What is the problem? Right now 4 functions we created in the same file. Now creating 4 functions or 4 components in same file, okay, manageable. But tomorrow if you create like this 100 components in one file, then this file will become very, 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 very heavy. The file size will become very big. So what we need to do, we need to divide our code into multiple files. So don't write or create all the components in one file. Recommended approach is create one component in one file. And for that component, create separate sub CSS file. For that component, create separate CSS file. It means now what people are recommending us, if you are creating four components, now in our example, I created four components. So don't create all the components in one file. What you do, you create four files for four components. Navbar one file, main one file, footer one file, and your app one file. And for every file, creates its own CSS file. For every file, create its own CSS file. So for this nav, you create nav.css. For main, create main.css. For footer, create footer.css. For your app, create app.css. Now you write your JSX code here in the JSX file, CSS code in CSS file, JSX code in JSX file, CSS code in CSS file. And then finally, create one simple HTML file, create one simple HTML file, and to this HTML file, you link this main app file. And to this app file, you link remaining files. You link these files here. So if you follow this principle, if you follow this guideline, then it becomes very easy for you to develop a complex application. It becomes easy for you to develop a large application. Right now, you might feel that I have to create lot of files, but creating lot of files is better approach than creating one file and writing everything in that. It's like instead of staying entire family in one room, we can have separate rooms for separate peoples. So easily they can do their work. It is more convenient. If you give this many files to the browser to load, then browser will take lot of time. Creating this many files and writing the code, it is a easy for developer. But if you create, let's suppose you created 500 files. Now this 500 files, if you want to load in browser, then browser will take so much time. We cannot load all these 500 files in browser. So now what we have to do, while developing, we have to create so many files, we have to write our code. Once your development is done, then what you need to do, you have to create some common files. Very less common files you have to create. For example, I created three common files. Now in these three common files, you have to add all these file codes. All these file codes you have to add here. When you have to do after your development. When you are writing the code, write the code in separate files. You created application, everything is working fine. Now what you do, once it is everything working fine, then take all the code from all the file and add inside these three files only. It means all these 500 files code you have to add inside these three files. Now this process we call as a building. This process we call as a build process we call. Now as a developer, you are creating so many files, you are writing so much code, then again you are taking all that code, adding in three files. That becomes very heavy for you. You will take lot of time to do all this process. So to overcome all these things, one tool came into picture, and that tool is called build tool. And in our case, we are going to use a build tool called vdo2 tool. So what this vdo2 tool will do, it will help us to create one React application. It creates a basic React application. It will take care of managing all the files. If you create 500 files, it will manage all the files. It will manage all the files. Now you are writing JSX code. That code has to get converted into React element. This code will take care of all the conversions. This code, this tool will take care of all conversions. So from JSX to React element, we have to convert. It will take care of all the conversions. This tool will take care of building process. It take care of building process. It will take care of compilation. It takes care of compilation. It will take care of checking the errors. Checking the errors. Like this build tool is going to do lot of work for us, which we call as a maintenance work. Which we call as a maintenance work. If you don't use build tool, then all this work you have to do. As a developer, you have to do all these things. Plus, you have to write the code. In all the files, you have to write the code. So if you do like this, you will take a lot of time to develop the applications. You will take years to develop the applications. So to overcome this problem, people introduced build tool in the market. Now what build tool is doing, what build tool is telling to us, I will manage 60 to 70% of work. Now to develop one application, whatever 50 to 60% of work is there, I will manage it. As a developer, your work is to just write the code. You just focus on writing the code. You just focus on implementing the features. You don't focus on maintaining your code. You don't focus on maintaining the application. That will be taken care by build tool. So as a software developer, you have to take care of maintaining work, plus you have to take care of building feature works. So if you do everything, then you will take a lot of time to develop applications. You will take years to develop applications. That is the reason before 2010, people used to take 1 year, 2 years to develop the application. But now people will take 1 month, 15 days, 3 months to develop the application. You can understand how much duration got reduced. Why? Because so many tools got introduced. Now everything is not managed by developer. Developer will manage only 30% of work. 70% of work, everything will be managed by your build tools. Now in that 30% also AI came. In that 30% also 20% work is managing by AI now. Now as a developer, you have to just manage 10% of work. That is how your software is evolving. So when like 20 years back, people used to take 2 years to develop application. Now people take 3 months. Now maybe after 5, 10 years, you will see people will take 5 days or 1 week to develop application. So that is how your software is evolving. So now instead of maintaining work, instead of taking care of maintenance work, now we will take care of only feature building works. And how it is possible? By taking the help of a build tool. So now what we are going to do, we are going to use a build tool called Vite. Using this tool, we will create one basic React application. We will create one basic React application. Now this tool will take care of doing so many things. This tool will help us with one development server. It will create one development server and it will give us that server. And it will host our application, which is created by this Vite tool. This tool will take care of compilation. This tool will take care of building the application. This tool will take care of managing libraries. This tool will take care of providing URL.
Using that URL, we can access our application in browser. So many things are taken care by tool. What we have to do, we have to just create a basic React application. And in this application, we have to write our code. In this application, we have to write our code and make this application customized React application. Make this application customized React application. So in short, this Vite tool will help us to create one basic React application. In that basic React application, we will write our code. Then our customized React application will be created. And to access this application in our browser, this tool will provide us URL also. Using this URL, whatever application you created, you will be able to access in the browser. And use this tool will help us to develop all the features like API integration, your data management, data validations. Everything will be taken care by this tool. It will help us to integrate those libraries easily, manage easily. So now we have to learn how to create React application. How to create React application using build tool. Using build tool called Vite. How to create React application. What is application? Application is nothing but collection of some files. Collection of some files is called application. So application is nothing but collection of files. Collection of files. Which files? Now that files can be related to HTML. That file can be related to CSS, JavaScript, JSX files, and JSON file. So what you will do, you will create all these files, you will keep in one folder. That folder we are going to call as a application. We are going to call as an application. What is application? Application is nothing but collection of files. All these files will be interlinked with each other. They are connected with each other. And all these files you will keep in one folder. That folder only we call as application. So now using this build tool called Vite, we are going to create one basic application. How to create? For that, make sure that in your system Node.js is installed. So first step is install Node.js. And already in first session, I have shown you how to install Node.js. Once Node.js is installed, second step, create a empty folder in any drive and open in Visual Studio Code. So what we have to do, we have to create one empty folder. So let me create one empty folder. So here itself, I will create one empty folder. I will say React app. This folder we have to open in our Visual Studio Code. How to open? Click on File, click on Open Folder option, and just navigate to the place where you have created your folder. Select that folder, click on Select Folder. Your folder will open in Visual Studio Code. Open the terminal. How to open the terminal? Click on this View option. Then you will have here Terminal option. Click on Terminal. This terminal will open. Now here first check the node version, whether node is installed in your system or not. How to check? For that, you have to use the command node-v. Use this command node-v. When you use this command, you should get here some version. If you get some version, it means node is installed in your system. If you get here some error, then node is not installed. And you have to go to the Node.js official website. You can go to the browser, you can search for nodejs.org, click on get Node.js, and here you will have download button. Click on this download. One installer file will be downloaded. Just double click, then you have to click next, 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 install. Very, very simple process. Install Node.js. Once Node.js is installed, then here you have to use the command npm create read at the rate latest space dot slash. This is the command you have to use. So third step is use the following command. No, third step is open the terminal. Fourth step is check node version. Fifth step is use the following command. What is the command you have to use? You have to use the command npm space create space wait at the rate latest space dot slash. Now press enter. Press enter. The moment you press enter, it will ask you few questions. Now it is asking select a framework. So here you have to select React. How to select? Use your arrow buttons. Select React. Press enter. Then it will ask you to select variant. So we have to select here JavaScript. How to select? Again, use your arrow buttons. Select JavaScript, press enter. Now it will ask, do you want to use V8, V8? By default, no is selected. You just press enter. We don't want to select. Next, it is asking, do you want to install npm and start the development server? By default, yes is selected. You say yes. Just press enter. Now it will take some time to create your basic React application. See, some folders and some files came here. Just wait for few seconds. Your React application will be created. One URL it will give you. Copy that URL, paste in your browser. You will be able to access your basic React application. So it is see, still creating the application. Wait. Now it is saying starting development server. Wait. Now see, you got URL. Once you get this URL, it means your application is successfully created and development server is started. What you have to do, you have to just copy this URL. Okay, copy this URL. Let me just do here. My development server got stopped. Let me restart. So once you get this URL, copy this URL, go back to the browser. Any browser you can go in this address bar, paste that URL and press enter. The moment you see this UI, it means successfully you created your basic React application. So today, at any cost, you guys have to create this one. Okay. So just whatever steps I have told, same steps you have to follow. So one information I want to share, guys. Tomorrow I am not available. Tomorrow I am just traveling little bit, and my train is exactly at 8:45 only. So tomorrow I am traveling. So tomorrow we don't have class. Okay. So our next session will be on Friday. Next session will be on Friday. Okay. So what you guys have to do today, you just try all this. You just try all this and just check whether you are able to create React application and whether you are able to access this UI or not. In next session, I will explain you about this application. So what is development server, how to start, how to stop, how to access, everything I will explain. Okay. Yeah. Now One more thing, guys. I will provide you one video. I will provide you one video. Now, tomorrow there is no class. So instead of wasting our time, I will provide you one video on module concept of JavaScript. What you guys have to do, you have to watch this video before coming to Friday's session. In this video, I have explained you about a concept of export and import. So what is this export and import is nothing but suppose if you create multiple JavaScript files, you return some code in one file. Now this code I want to use in this file. So how to use the code of one JavaScript file into another JavaScript file? That is what module concept is all about. So how to do that? That is what I have explained in that video. So you have to just watch that video. So if you watch that video, you will be able to learn this module concept. Now again, this is the JavaScript concept. Okay, so just instead of wasting our time, we can utilize tomorrow's time to watch that video and just work on whatever we have done. You can create this page which we created, plus you can work on this. So it will be more than enough for you to utilize tomorrow's time. Okay. Yep. So anyone have any doubts, guys, up to here? If you have any doubts, let me know. If you don't have any doubts, yeah, you can leave. Let's connect tomorrow. I will provide you guys on your WhatsApp. You will receive that link. Yeah. Tell me. Yeah, tell me, Deepak.